That's nice.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh.
and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you Wakim out there who push this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe on the gospel. And it's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp, from the brother for the Great Millstone Houston camp, and to Wadi Al-Bashim Al-Shah for another opportunity, to allow us to come out and give a sacrifice on the highways and hedges. And that's what the prophets are set up in the last days to do. And the reason we are here is first and foremost to push to our people. And look, we're in the end, and destruction is coming, so repent. And our people, as we will know today, are the so-called Black Hispanics and Native Americans for the most part. Granted, we've been scattered for a long time, thousands of years, so you can look like another nation. But if you believe on this gospel, that would determine if you're an Israelite or not. But we also are here to prophesy against Babylon, mystery Babylon the Great, which have now been identified as America. And also expose the wicked, as the scriptures say, in the last days, man. So we just go flow with the spirit and the street speaking and whatever brothers got. There's a lot going on. You got World War III on the brink. You have America moving more and more troops. I see some they trying to put fighter jets out there now in the east. You also got the MOTV system. America is on a fast decline. So a lot is happening right now. Can you get it?
This is Amos chapter 3, starting at verse 6. It says, "Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it?" It says, "Surely Yahweh's power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets." And that's what the brother just said. Things are happening in the earth that Yahweh has revealed to his prophets, and we're out here on the highways and the byways proclaiming the things that he has revealed. Like you said, Babylon the Great is America. The son of perdition is the Edomite. We are the Hebrew Israelites. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're not Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You Hebrew Israelites. You are the people that the Lord made a contract with, a blood contract, that you would keep his law, statutes, and commandments.
This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light."
Right, and that light is just truth, man. Understanding what's going on. As the brother was just going into, the Lord revealed his secrets unto us. That's the light. Can you read it again now?
God. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Hamashiach shall give thee light."
Right, we was all once sleeping for. Not knowing what was going on in the world, we probably would have voted. Some brothers probably would have cast their vote for Kamala. Got the sticker. You probably would have had the jab. I got my jab today. We ain't know what was going on in the court of prophecy. We probably would have been scared of what Elon and Trump doing, all worried. But now that the Lord opened up our eyes and we can see what's going on, we can see through the smoke screens. We can see past the BS, man. So now seeing the Lord gave us light and we know what's going on now.
This is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. "See then that ye walk circumspectly."
So it says, see then. So seeing you have this truth, what to do with it? Walk circumspectly, man. Now that the Lord have blessed us with knowing what's going on, we shouldn't be in the world how we was before the truth, when we was in darkness. That's like it's saying, I believe it's in Peter, how we don't run and do the same things we did when we was once in the world, man. People should look at us different. People should feel different about us. People should kind of, I don't want to say be offended when we come around, but in their spirit, it's like a standard being lifted around them. and they make them feel like pieces of shit, like in John 3, you know. But we supposed to move different now that we had this truth. Again, we ain't in the time to go around large crowds like the other times of Paul was saying, I think before or after the Thursday Live yesterday. Right now ain't the time to be around large crowds, man. Large crowds are where the Lord is judging at. Tourist attractions. You see? Theme parks, so on and so forth. So now, see, we got this truth. The Lord said, walk circumspectly. Pay attention to our surroundings. Full surroundings, not just what's going on in Houston or California or North Carolina or Georgia. No, pay attention to what's going on in all states and what's going on in the world, man. And not just one part of prophecy as World War III. No, when you go on those websites, don't just go to celebrities. Go to the finance, go to technology, go look at all those different tabs on topics to look at. Because the Lord doing things on all spectrum right now.
And also pay attention to the weather, earthquakes, and there's earthquakes going on constantly. There was just 3 earthquakes here in Texas earlier today. But just adding to that, there's not just the celebrities like the brother was saying, like all the news. Like what was that? A few weeks ago, the sinkhole opened up in Korea. You see the dude in the video just fall right into the sinkhole. Man died. He was riding a moped. It just opened up right on him. It's like this is Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Right, not as the people in this world, they fools, but as wise.
Redeeming the time because the days are evil.
Right, that's what we should be involved in, doing this work, some way, one way or another. It says redeeming the time, buying back the time that we lost, right, when we was in the world. And sins upon sins, losing. And think about it, all of us was in the world longer than we was in the truth for. So in other words, that's a lot of making up to do. Like it said, Baruch 4:28, as it was our mind to go astray. You got it.
Baruch chapter 4 and verse 28. For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High.
Right, it wasn't the Lord's slacking, but you can read that for the
For as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High.
Right, as it was our minds to go astray from the Lord. That's a good one for Hebrews 8. That part right there, how it says, he didn't find fault with the law or the covenant, he found fault with Israel, man. So seeing we went off.
So being returned.
Now that the Lord have given us this life back, the truth. In other words, showing us mercy when we didn't even deserve it as Israelites. So now that we have the Lord named Yahweh to call on, Yahweh Shai name to call on and repenting, now that we know the prophecies, these things that we have, and we have the ability to go prophesy and give a sacrifice. So now that we'll return what?
Seek him 10 times more.
Go 10 times harder, man. 10 times harder. So even going back to that Ephesians 5, it says, what's that last point?
Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil.
The days are evil, man. The Lord will cut this short at any time. So the best thing, for all of us who want to know to do is, as much as we can, to store up spiritual treasures in our bank account. Because at any time, the internet could go out, Shalom, man. At any time, the internet could go out. That's why Yahweh Shai said in John 9 that we must work the work while it is day. Because the time or the night coming where no man can work, man. Ain't no sacrifice will be able to be given in the times we coming in. Ain't no sacrifice will be given, no repentance will be given in the times we coming in. Right now is the time to do all that, man. And we see, as we see America spiraling down the drain. And think about it, when something starts spiraling down the drain, that's really at the time you can't get it back out. Like you keep, it's down now. It's in the abyss now. Think about it, say if you drop your ring in the sink, and it's doing a little hit, you're trying to grab it and put it in the sink, but if it hit that sink, it's over. America at the point to where it's over with. Nobody can get Jeremiah 51. You got it? Now you got it. It's over with. No, you can't grab it out. You can't pull it up. You can't save it no more. America is over with, man.
This is Jeremiah chapter 51.
Oh, you can start at 6.
Okay, come. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
It says, You read it one more time.
Jeremiah 51 and verse 6.
And it's not talking about the ancient Babylon. It's talking about the modern Babylon, which is America. Remember, many kingdoms of old, especially in the scriptures, were spiritually likened unto other empires. Why? Because they maybe had the same gods as a past empire. You know, they may have the same beliefs or customs. You know, the same way they ruled their empire, it was likened unto past empires. And for example, just to show even the Heavenly Father that he spiritually can liken a past or a current empire to others, he even said it in Revelation 11. Because he said that great city at the end was going to be spiritually Sodom and spiritually Egypt. Right. So this Babylon right here is not talking about modern Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar. And you know what's a good way to prove that? When you go to...
You said modern.
What you say?
You said it's not talking about ancient Babylon?
The water. It's not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about modern day Babylon. The water. You see? And you know how you can prove that when you go into the judgment of it. The judgment of ancient Babylon wasn't with fire. Wasn't with being completely destroyed. Wasn't with nations turning in and shooting arrows on them, man. No. Darius, he was sent by Cyrus, I believe, to just walk in and say, look, this ours now. We the captains of the ship now. So this is going into America. You got it, bro.
Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul.
Deliver every man his soul. Sure, we can't physically go nowhere. Remember, it's Jacob's trouble and the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world. The only place you might be okay is like, those islands where civilization, where they still wearing the teepee shit like the Tasmanians and shit. But even they gonna be going through. The Lord it's about to be plagues all over the world, but when it says deliver every man his soul, which means spiritually separate from this place, man. Depart from this place. Yeah, we still in it, but we don't got the same cares as we once had a couple years ago, right? We don't have the same cares or like the same foods or into the same things that we was before the truth. We cut that off. So now, or not even just the things that we was doing, because we still have to be involved in the world. Before the truth, you was tied to certain things. Say if you got a new car. Well, you was tied to it, that was my baby, man. Now we get it, the Wadi Habashim Abashai is temporary. We get it. We in the world, money this, money that. Now it is what it is. So see, we let the things of this world go. It don't weigh us down no more. You got it, bro. Like Lot's wife, she couldn't let it go. That's why when it was time to escape, she couldn't. She looked back. You got it.
Be not cut off in her iniquity. For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. House for her, take balm for her pain. So be, if so be, she may be healed.
We're in the beginning stages of Babylon being destroyed, man. Remember, it just don't all just happen in one day. No, it got to be a process. The Lord got to break certain things down before the major destruction, man. He got to send those plagues, as he said in 2 Esdras 15, a multitude of plagues before the destruction. Matter of fact, can we get that real quick just to show it ain't just going to happen overnight? So we already in the process of seeing America being destroyed. And it already happened in the heavens. It's got to play out on earth, but the process have already started, man.
This is 2 Esdras chapter 15 and verse 1.
No, you can start at 3.
I think like 12. Okay, verse 10.
This is 2 Esdras chapter 15 and verse 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
And that's why it's important to know context, man. When you read 2nd Esdras, yeah, it's Ezra from the Old Testament. But when you get into Esdras and the Apocrypha, he was getting a lot of prophetic dreams and visions. In 2nd Esdras 15, that was a prophetic dream of things that was going to come in the future. And Esdras said the same thing as in the time of Noah. He said that wickedness have exceedingly polluted itself, reached the heavens. And now it's enough that the Lord about to bring judgment. So it's talking about the end of the world. So when we jump down to verse 10, it brings up Egypt. Which again, this is spiritual Egypt, Revelation 11 and 8 Egypt. It's not talking about the ancient Egypt, because after we came out, we was never led as a flock to the slaughter again in droves back into the ancient Egypt. This is right here in America. So let's see what the Lord got to say about America. You got it?
God, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 10. It says, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter.
Right.
I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt.
America.
But I will bring them with a mighty hand,
Yahushua,
God, and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt.
And smite Egypt
with the plagues. As before.
As before. Showing it's a different Egypt, right? Because he said, I'm going to send plagues on this Egypt as before. It's never written nowhere in history that the Lord brought 10 plagues or a multitude of plagues on Egypt again. People still out there touring. You know? You got people, what's the when they hop out the plane, they got the parachute shit going over the pyramids. You can still do all that. The Lord didn't bring more plagues to Egypt. Further so, it's talking about that spiritual Egypt, but this is the point I wanted. It says he was going to bring plagues on Egypt as before, but then it's going to make the point of how then eventually it was going to be destroyed. We're in the season of seeing those plagues coming. So the Lord already started the countdown on America's destruction, man. You got it. I can't read that verse.
God. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 11. It says, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof.
Which shows that's not the ancient Egypt. It says this one here is going to destroy all the land thereof. North, south, east, to west. That's America. But before that, before the main judgment comes, the Lord going to be taking America out bit by bit. Fire and then floods, earthquakes, tornadoes, sicknesses, and this and that, and newly created creatures. And think about it, not just that, but it's going to be diseases going around that Esau ain't put out there because just the stench and the dead bodies just rotting away. All that's going to have an effect on society, man. Think about the air quality in those times. That's why you see in a lot of apocalyptic movies, it's like the imagery is kind of like hazy. You know, the clouds dark, the sky dark, it got the red hue. It got a smell, although you can't smell on the TV, but it got a smell. That's the smell of death, man. We're about to witness all that right here. We're really in the world, but mainly America, Babylon the Great. We can finish that.
This is Jeremiah chapter 51 in verse 8. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. Verse 9. It says, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto the heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. And the scriptures tell you in Isaiah the 55th chapter, the Lord's word doesn't return unto him void. So as we read these scriptures, it's just a matter of time whenever these things are going to take place. But according to what we just read, there's no such thing as it's going to get better. Okay, the scriptures tell you, especially in 2nd Ezra, it tells you how evils are going to increase in the later end. So Babylon cannot be healed. Pretty much, that's why we're looking for a way out of this thing. Not try to build up and get better. It's impossible. It's come to the point of its limit. Now the Lord is going to do what's next written according to prophecy, and that's Yahushua making his return.
This is Amos chapter 5, and I'll start at verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. So what end is it for you? The day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and a serpent bit him. So this is the time that's coming. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation of Revelation 3 and 10, and it's going to try the whole world. It's going to be disaster after disaster after disaster. And it's judgment coming upon the world. So it will be the best thing that you can do is to get right with Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. And that's the best thing that you can do, but it's not even a choice for you. It's whether Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai chooses you to do that. Verse 20, shall not the day of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? Meaning, you're not going to know what to do in these days. If you got your Yahweh Shem Shai with you, he's going to take care of you. But other than that, you're going to be out there in the dark, out there alone with your own devices.
You had something else on that?
This is 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shai, is not slack concerning his promise, and some men count slackness, but is long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. And the Lord is essentially giving you time to repent. You know, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, because his day is fast approaching. You know, it's been said. The word has been decreed. It's already happened in the heavens. It just has to take place here on earth. So, you know, it would behoove you to get right. It says, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And these are the things that the Lord has declared is going to happen. These things are going to happen here on the earth. And you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, some of you 2/3, the Lord said you dross. He's going to burn you. He's going to melt you here. So, you know, if that's your lot, that's what's going to happen. But the others, it's time of repentance.
I read this in the GNT. 2 Ezra chapter 4 and 37 in the GNT. It says, for the Most High has weighed this age, measured the years, and numbered the days, and nothing will be changed until the time has run its predetermined course. So think about that, man. Everything that's said must happen. We can't skip over nothing. And we should be excited as believers watching the story play out, man. And even that's another thing. Like, why would you not want to, seeing this the end, what else you going to do? What else is there to do in this world? What, trying to go viral? You know? Like, really, what else is there to do? You want to live, you know, fulfill a fantasy, and I want to climb the Grand Canyon. For what? I want to go to Times Square. For what? It's nothing but rats, trash, homeless people, and bullshit. And you might see some Israelite camps out there. That might mess up your weekend. But think about it. What else is there to do in America? Nothing. Even in the world, everything is polluted, man. The Lord has brought forth the end. And as we know, the end was going to come through the nation of Edom ruling. And it only makes sense because you put two and two together. The wicked Esau, which is, you know, the Lord evil side, and it was said at the end of the world, it was going to be the worst it ever been. Well, lo and behold, because, can you get Revelation 6 and 4? Because Esau. You did exactly what you were set up to do. You played the role perfectly, man. You did it. Congratulations, you did it. But now it's time for the other side of you doing it. You know, they said, what Christopher Columbus them said, destiny.
Manifest.
Manifest destiny. You sure was right. That was manifest destiny. It was set up for it to happen. Now we about to see what that feel like. Our destiny, the promises, the covenant, salvation, us being saved from our enemies' new body, that's about to be manifest, man. Right. That's about to happen. And you can't change it. Oh, can the brother get real quick before we get that Ecclesiastes? I think it's like 8 when it says the destiny can't be changed. It's in the NLT. Now you can get on before that. Get on what the time of one man rule over another. To his own hurt. You got it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 9. All this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt.
So that can you see how what manifest destiny means? Just to see AI overview might have some. It might have some. Let's see what that even means. Manifest destiny. Can you read that one more time, bro?
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 9. All this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another.
So like it. Think about what King Solomon said. That's why it's good to read Ecclesiastes, Songs of Solomon, Proverbs. King Solomon literally, think about it. He was the man. He lived life. He did it. he was writing down his experiences. So he said, I sat back and I realized it's a time where you can have one man to rule over another man, but watch what it's going to lead to. Can you read that from the top?
Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 9, all this have I seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt.
There was a time where one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. So that was the time. If the Lord sent Christopher Columbus over, well, really he didn't come to the Americas. He went to Central and South America, right? But the Lord sent Esau over here. Hey, you know what? I watched the Christopher Columbus documentary. It was like maybe an hour long. It was like a while back. But you know how the Lord said he held back the floods for Judah and the northern kingdom to come over here? When you watch that documentary, pretty much the Lord did the same thing. He kept Christopher Columbus and his crew intact, had seas calm when the seas wasn't supposed to be calm, like during hurricane season, just so he could come over here. Just so he can enslave the Lord on people. Why? It was his manifest destiny. But the latter end of that, he was going to rule over us to his own hurt. It's going to backfire. You got some on that, bro?
Yeah, they got a little bit. I just typed in, what is a quick summary about manifest destiny in ChatGPT? And it says, manifest destiny was the 19th century belief that the United States was divinely destined to expand across the North American continent from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. It was used to justify, then it has bullets. So it was used to justify Western expansion, the displacement and oppression of Native American tribes, the Mexican-American War, which was 1846 through 1848, the annexation of Texas, Oregon, and California. And lastly, it says, at its core, manifest destiny combined nationalism, racial superiority beliefs, and religious justification to support the U.S. Territorial growth, often at the expenses of indigenous people in other nations.
You know what they're saying indirectly? That was how Esau fulfilled Genesis 27, him getting the fatness of the earth and do heaven from above. Because they were just in the known world at that time. You know, the Greeks, Romans, but Spain and, Germany, so on. But when they came over here, that was the time when Esau really, America allowed Esau to come into that fullness of his blessing. But what it was saying was, that gave them the right to, that justified them come and kill our people and say, this is our land now because God set this up. God set this up. God sent us over here. We're supposed to enslave y'all. We're supposed to take over this earth. Indirectly, that's really what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, bring that out and say when thou should break the yoke off his neck.
Oh, Genesis.
You're right.
It's Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40. Genesis 27 and 40. And by thy sword, you want to start at 39?
Let's go into that. Where you at right now?
Genesis 27 and I'll start at 38 because it mentioned Esau by name. When Isaac was telling him what his blessing was going to be. This Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Well, we speak in Great Millstone. This is Jacob and Esau, the two main characters today in the world, on the world stage, all right? And when you look at a lot of American wars, it was Esau against Israel. Even the Civil War, people think it's about the North and the South. But it was really them gaining control, really to strip away power, or what little remaining power that Jake had, the Moors had in America. You know? And they say, oh, it was the white Southerners and all of this. But a lot, and well, you have to go into the history. When you go to you look at colonization, It was Jake that set up like Jamestown. That's after King James. All of the companies that were set up, the Virginia Company, all of that. That was Jake. And Esau was brought over here to work. They was brought over here to be slaves. But this is what we're going into. The Most High to fulfill prophecy, helped them, but with the left hand, and they begin to come up. So history will tell you like we were just over here running around loincloths and shooting arrows, and we was primitive and all of that shit. No, Esau just he inherited from the Most High what was already in place. Jake had government in place. They tell you George Washington wasn't the first president. Well, who was? They don't go there because you get in the brown face, But we're going back to the very beginning of where the animosity came from, and this is where it goes back to. No other book gives you this history. This is why you got to acknowledge the Bible. Just like the nigga Marquette was talking about King James and stuff. And see, he's so busy trying to be a smart ass. I don't know what the point you was making about King James. What are you trying to say? You don't follow that version, or that's a bad version? What was the point of bringing up King James? All I know is my salvation ain't in King James. So I'm not even finna have a conversation about King James. We're looking to the kingdom. You want to talk Yahweh Shai? Right. We can talk Yahweh Shai. I don't care about, that's the version I follow, the King James. You don't like it, fuck you. We got to have no discussion about it. Fuck you. We in the time, man, we ain't convincing nobody. I'm not convincing nobody. You young brothers, y'all got the energy and the youth. Y'all want to waste your time like that, convincing motherfuckers because the Lord gonna wait. You just said, who just said it? Yeah, you just said, one of you brothers, the Lord got to choose you. I think that was you said that. The Lord got to choose you anyway. So if the Lord ain't working with you, all the preaching, you could be the bad Samuel. You could be, I don't care who you are. If the Lord don't want a man to wake up, you're not waking him up. All right? So we're out here to convince people. We're to cast this net, all right? Broadcast this word. But let's go into their history.
It's Genesis chapter 27 and verse 38. And Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father.
Now, in case you didn't know, Esau is so-called, he's the progenitor of the Edomites, who are the so-called white people together. All right? These are the 18 nations all here on the earth today. And you got Esau. Go to Isaiah 25 and 7. He don't even mention none of these ancient biblical names. He put a covering over all the nations. And that's a part of the deception that has everybody lost. You got it out?
Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people.
This mountain means this rulership, this government. All right? This system Esau has set in place. It's getting ready to be destroyed. All right? And what did I hit it again,
Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations.
Right, that veil, meaning the people have been hidden. The original names, man. And then Esau would have to acknowledge these people's names. So he tell you, you this and you that. So you start reading the map and say, if he told you, you the ancient Moabites, they say, well, we should be over here in the land of Moab, or whatever. So it's a covering cast, and the people, it's a veil over the nation. All right? The Lord sent us out here to straighten out the confusion. But as long as all people holding on to Esau's knowledge, and it don't matter anyway, because 2/3 are slated to be destroyed in all the land. Right here. So somebody's got to fulfill it. All right. But let's go back into it. So Esau is so-called white people. Jacob is our forefather, the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead.
It says, back in Genesis 27:38, and Esau said, "Has thou but one blessing my father, bless me, even me also, my father." And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above."
Meaning all of the best places of the world, the rich places, the fatness of the earth. And then even going into the apostle went into it years ago, when you go into fat, it goes into the oil. You know, and that's where he goes. Everywhere somebody found oil or find oil, he's going to take it. He's going to claim it. You know, because he was given that. You know, so we have to bear. We have to bear it. We have to bear it because we brought Esau on ourselves. We brought Esau on ourselves. You know, thanks to Adam. You know, but I mean, we all played our part. We look going to the spirit. We all played our part. But it's almost done. This nightmare is almost over. But he was promised that. Hit it one more time. You got a precept? All right. Hit it one more time.
Verse 39, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, "Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above."
And the dew of heaven from above, you know, meaning he would be blessed with all the fatness of the earth. So you need the dew of heaven, the rain, and all of that crops and all that good stuff. And then, you know, this devil even got the directed energy weapons. You can go into that now. You know, the Most High has been blessing this devil so that he could put fear among the earth, among the nations of the earth. So when Yahweh Shai come back and deal with that devil like that, there ain't gonna be no more question of who the real God is. They gonna know when Yahweh Shai come back. So when you read Romans 9, it tells you about the Most High propped this man up so he can knock his ass down and get his glory. That's how the Lord is going to get glory, by taking down this devil that had the whole world in fear, that had the whole world shook. But you see now nations are rising up against this devil, man. They didn't have enough.
Nobody fear America no more.
They didn't have enough. You only pushing people so far, man. People waking up and they saying enough is enough. Well, go ahead, right?
This is Micah chapter 2, and I'll start at verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them away by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man, his house, even a man and his heritage.
Right, so they covet fields. All right, through their foreign policy, to go, oh, they got poppy. You know, we can do with all that poppy. Yeah, oh, they got lithium. You know, good lithium too. You know, we can do with all that lithium. You know, and oil, all this. So when if they find it, he coming to extract it. All right, at the expense of those people. They don't benefit or profit from it. I mean, they've been, and I never really looked at it until Shaheed Bolson had brought it out. This man is a cancer. I knew that, but he was explaining how he never attributed shit to humanity. He go around colonizing and taking, and his soul. His major source of money has been in Africa. They mine the shit out of Africa, from diamonds to gold, now lithium, like brother saying, all these other rare earth minerals that they pulling out of Africa. But look at the African people. You know, A lot of them is squalor. Community, then a nigga get rich over here. I'm gonna go build a school. I'm gonna go help them Hamites. And see, that's another thing. Africa. No, them goddamn Hamites. Ham, goddamn. Not no African. That's their covering cast. but right, he just go and take shit, or he pushes drugs on people. That's his major export. Really, is drugs. And all the manufacturing shit. We do the goddamn work. We do the work. We got some losers among them who can't get it together, who can't figure out, I need to join the law, a lodge, so I can come up in society. I don't want to be next to these niggas. I mean, I'm thinking like an Edomite. If you're an Edomite, that's how you're supposed to think. Because I'm damn sure not going to be around your ass in my kingdom. Right. But you got some losers, they work these jobs. Yeah, the jobs are for slaves. I'm sorry, you love your job. Well, then you love being a slave. You know, or to be an employee. You know, you can work for yourself. I ain't speaking against work. I'm talking about being an employee. But go back to that. The second verse.
Micah chapter 2 and verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence.
So they covet fields, all right? We saw that in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya. We see it all throughout the Middle East. And now over in Gaza, they covet in Gaza. They just take it. They say, fuck it. It's manifest destiny too, bitch. They're taking it. But that's good because they all sat and watched when we underwent. And I mean, that was prophecy though. So we gonna sit and watch you. Y'all sit and watch Gad. He get murdered, tortured, and shit. The Northern Kingdom or the so-called Latin tribes, and then the Negro. And nobody even, now it's like they sweep it under the rug except when they want to show you a goddamn slave movie. And then other than that, but you ain't supposed to talk about it. Oh, that's the past. Well, why you always showing me these goddamn movies? That's psychological. That's programming to keep you locked in that vibration of that. All of those shit. No, we singing a new song, bitch. Right? Go to Revelation 14. And Jake wanted to say that's what the church keep you in that vibration. That old fucking slave ass. That's why, that we should overcome. Yeah. That's why the apostle called it plantation Christianity. To keep you locked in that. Yeah, we shall. Just how shall been overcame. What you waiting on? Right. We out here overcoming, bitch. Right. You shall overcome. We overcoming. Right. I'll go to the right to the point.
This is Revelation chapter 14 and verse 3. And they sung, as it were, a new song.
So we singing a new song, this gospel, all right, of Yahushua HaMashiach. You ain't never heard that before in your haunted house, in your Freemason 501c3 chartered religion. You ain't never heard Yahushua HaMashiach or Yahweh, all right? It's a whole other doctrine that comes with those names. All right, this is a new song. All right, we ain't teaching that God love everybody. That indoctrination, more programming. I gotta accept whatever you do to me. Well, I can't strike out at you, but I put them curses up. I get the Most High to do something to you. I ain't gotta accept your bullshit. And that's what they want. That's what the religion that they go to. They don't turn the other cheek, and the Lord said that, but that's to your brother. It's for your brother, the one who you hate. You don't turn the cheek for him. But yet this white man can do atrocity after atrocity after goddamn atrocity. And you give him to show every teeth in your mouth when he walk by. And had just the most pleasantest attitude. But then I walk by, you don't even look at me. You don't even acknowledge me. You know, but that's all people. You know, that goes back to Deuteronomy 28. Just another, that's a sign of who we are. All other nations, they work together on some type of level. You know, they have their differences, animosities, but they come together when it counts. And when it counts, we can't come together. Like right now, it counts. Where the fuck everybody at? You see? But let it be some foolishness, a dumb nigga get killed by the police for doing some dumb shit. And then you gonna have everybody in the street, and you don't even know this nigga. The nigga just robbed your house last week. What you out here for? Then the motherfucker just we are no people. That's a no people. That's what a no people looks like.
Look how they did the one who was set to unite us as a people. Yahushua, they chose Barabbas over the Lord.
You can't look over that. You can't look over that. A man who had no fault. They ain't rallied behind him. They went to get the fish and the load. Go ahead, Ike.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 3. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts. And
the white man is the devil. When you heard that in your 501c3 charter Freemason church. Yeah, the white man is the devil. It's a new song, all right? It's a new song. We taking over under Yahushua. He really taking over. He gonna let us ride with it. All right? We're Lord willing, you know. But he gonna let Israel ride with it. But he called them shots. He gonna let us ride shotgun. Lord willing. Go ahead.
And no man could learn that song but the 144,000.
Because it's a little sanctuary. Everybody ain't gonna learn this song. So that go back to what I was saying earlier. Right? We're not here to convince nobody. Whoever gonna get the song is gonna get it. We just got to be out here, you know, in the show of our faith. You know, but the Lord might use us, might use Dallas, you know. Well, I mean, he has used all of us, but for the remaining elect, if there's any that need to be awakened, he can use any one of the camps that's out doing the work, and that's the catch. You got to be out doing the work, you know. And then if there's anybody need to be woke up, the Lord will direct them to a camp, a video, or something. Take them down the rabbit hole, find GMS, you know. We got to be available. But yeah, go ahead, you got it.
I was about to say too.
You lost your thought? Yeah. Come back up. Read it again.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 3. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
No, the point wasn't the Wadi Abba Shemal Shai. Just to back up what they were the times of Pa said, bro, think about how important it is us just putting lessons on YouTube, right? And you know what's to show people waking up from this, from us doing this, you know what the proof? Look at what's going on in the world.
Churches. Go ahead, make your point.
Now, I was about to say, but when you look at what's going on in the world, people will have to be waking up from this. If we that close to the MOTB is on mainstream media, the system being set up, World War III right there, everybody ready to lose their mind. They show you people waking up. One, Matthew 24:14, Yahushua said, when this gospel, the new song, be preaching all the world for what is the all nations, then it was going to come. But you know how believers are actually being woken up, though? We can't wake up, oh, this is a new brother, okay, that's 127,030, you know, we got this many left to go. We can't count it, bro. Remember, the Lord never wanted us to count Israel. The thing was, you know what proved that people are waking up across the world? Prophecy is being fulfilled and it's happening. 2nd Ezra 7, the closer we get, the more people are being fulfilled. Real quick, at a time, you got it, but 2nd Ezra 7 said the Lord won't bring forth the destruction until the servants be sealed. Showing people have to be getting sealed right now from this word going forth if we this close to the end, bro. That's the show. Don't go out by image. Well, y'all, it's only 300 yards, bro. We don't know how many people of the elect already died and in the heavens go come back first. We probably, it's the little sanctuary. It might have a little few of us here. The point is, don't go by eyesight. Look at the prophecies. Look at things happening in the world to show people are waking up, man.
Right. That's the only thing we can gauge by is prophecy. All right. Esau, he uses, he look at Mars, Jupiter. Oh, we look at prophecy. That's right. That's why the scripture said you went into it. Well, I don't know if y'all got to it. Be circumspect. Y'all was in it. Okay. Come. Be circumspect. Watch around you, and so you can see where we at in the book. Oh shit, right. See where we at in the scope of prophecy. But right, let's go back to Esau. Yeah, come on, Salaki. Let's get back on Esau.
It's Genesis chapter 27 and verse 39. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above.
Right, y'all ever heard of Estonia? See?
That's Eastern Europe.
Well, shit, it's up there. Shit, I forget. Look it up, right? Estonia.
Well, that's Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe.
Okay.
Yeah, Eastern Europe.
That's what the brother said. But they say it's one of the coldest places on earth. It's like snow most of the year. That is Estonia.
Estonia. It's right by
But that's it right there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's it. Yeah, I mean, and that's they New World Order city, and most people never heard of it. Okay. Just where it was. I don't know. So, which is up north of Iran and shit. But right, Esau had these cities you never heard of, like even like when they go to Switzerland and all of this,
Just south of Russia, north of Iran, so it's in between.
North of Iran, yeah. And they say it's cold most of the year over there, but they didn't build. I mean, they spent money. It's really like in the middle of nowhere down there. But they in the rest of the fatness of the earth, like tropical areas down South America, Central America, they set up shop. They all over the world, fulfilling prophecy. But go ahead.
Yep. It's Second Esdras 27 and 39, and 40. It says, I'm gonna read 20 and 39 again. And behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live.
So what does that mean? All right, by warfare, killing, death. All right, Esau is the merchant of death. They make movies like what was that with Nicolas Cage, the God of War, showing you how they deal in death and weaponry. All right. It was President Eisenhower sometime in the 50s had warned about the military-industrial complex. Think about that for a minute. A military industry. That's a complex. That's him living by the sword. Now that very same complex operates globally throughout the whole world. All right? With the U.S. military at the head. Right? This military industrial complex, what they produce. didn't think about it, is war. If you got a military-industrial complex, and it's one of the most lucrative industries on the earth today, I mean, you got to have constant war somewhere in the world for it to be as lucrative as it is. You think about, I can never remember them people. You know, these major weapons contractors. You know, you got DARPA, that's the military, but then you got like these private contractors. Even I think Boeing even get into weapon making, but it's a Lockheed Martin, right? They produce weaponry for military. You got Lockheed Martin. It's another one too. I think even Stewart and Stevenson get into some of that. He had GE as well. GE, they all, because that's where the money is. Because his blessing was the sword. So if that's your blessing, what you gonna do? Make war everywhere. Right? To capitalize off of your blessing. You're gonna make war everywhere. Go to Revelation. I got you, 6 and 4. Right.
This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red.
Right, the Edomite. Look at that name. Out of warm, Edom. All right? Red. Red, because he's so corny. He got Jake like that. You gotta have it now. Wait, give it to me. Like a goddamn fiend. You gotta have it. Now they talking about what they call it? Delayed gratitude. That's all it was in my day. They keep telling like that's a thing. No, you had to work and wait in my day. But now that's the thing. Delayed gratitude. You got to put your work in first and wait. Yeah, that's how shit works. He laughing, he know too. No, he go back, he go further than me. So, we work for shit. We wasn't a microwave society back in the 70s. And before that. That shit started to be introduced in the 80s. All right, and why I want to go into this, because we've been really living in a case study. We've been introduced to a whole lot of shit that humanity had never been introduced to, introduced to. A lot of shit, even the internet, and we don't know how this shit is affecting us. We live in a case study, and this goddamn devil is the reason behind it. I mean, think about all the shit that we goddamn Scotch guard. You Scotch guard your couch and little baby sleep on it. That's forever chemical. And we don't even know all of the long-term effects of this shit. The jab. Right, Teflon, all the non-stick coating on pots and pans. We don't know what this shit is going to do to us or our offspring. But now we seeing some of the results. All these bug outside here, that's what we see. It's a result of all of it. But going back to what? Us going off. Most High unleashed the devil on us. This man's a goddamn devil. I mean, even down to the genetic level, man. I was looking at that shit on Roundup. They fucking us up. The Roundup is in the ecosystem in America. It ain't no getting around it. So I'm gonna grow me an organic garden, okay, but Roundup gonna rain on it. It's in the ecosystem. But it's so diabolical. I just found out what it does. It blocks this pathway. And wherever you spray it on, whatever plant, it blocks the pathway for that plant to get the nutrients. That's why everybody's sick. And not only the nutrients, but the probiotics, the bacteria that's supposed to be in the soil, that's not in American soil, but it's supposed to be bacteria in your soil, because you got little doodle bugs and the roly-poly and the shit in the soil. That's what makes soil. It's supposed to be alive. That's how you grow the plants. So it's a pathway to get them probiotics, them good bacteria in the plant, so when you eat it, you get it. And that's what the Roundup does. It shuts off that pathway So we just eat empty food. And they say almost 99% when they spray that Roundup go in the plant and like 1 or 2% on the wheat.
They say Roundup is not a pesticide; it's an
But
antibiotic.
it's an antibiotic. The water. It's an antibiotic, and that's what it does to the plant. So when you eat it, they talk about, oh, it's an epidemic of superbugs. No, it's an epidemic of people having compromised immune system, not having the proper bacteria in their gut to deal with the shit that's floating around here. Like you were saying earlier, wait till people start dying and all this shit that's in them start getting aerosolized. Yeah, it's going to be a cocktail of epic proportions of death, you know? But it's this goddamn devil.
Right.
And a lot of it he knew, a lot of it he don't know. Yeah, he just doing shit with reckless abandon. He don't give a fuck. You see? But yeah, it's an antibiotic. All right? Which what? Kills your probiotics. When you eat it, your plants are full of antibiotics, or your greenery, your herbs. So get your herbs outside of Babylon. Don't deal with the herbs. Don't use herbs sourced in America. All right? This is why it's all this sickness and bloated bellies and overweightness and big bitches and big Shirleys. That's why it's an epidemic of sickness. What you had out?
I think the antibiotics, they kill the good and bad bacteria.
They kill everything, right? It don't discriminate. You got it out.
Real, I get this in Wisdom of Solomon too. Now this is going into the wicked, and what you were saying, they really out just doing everything they can while they ruling. And the thing is, see, back then, those Edomites in the ancient world, they only knew a certain portion, but now the Edomites who ruling the elite, they know exactly who they are in the scriptures. They know this was given to them. They know they got the sword, so they go maximize on that, man.
So let's go here. I lost my word.
You got it. This Wisdom of Solomon 2:6 in the GNT. It says, the wicked say, and it's the mindset how they rule the world. Come on then, and let us enjoy the good things of life and live in this world the way we did when we were young and free of care. So really, they're doing a lot of things and they not putting thought into it. It says, let us drink the most expensive wines and use the finest perfumes. Let us not miss a single flower in the springtime. And before the roses wither, let's pick them and wear them in our hair. It says, and let's all join in and leave signs everywhere of our carefree revelry, man. So Esau, he's doing things and it's around the world that's carefree.
LGBTQ. Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
It's carefree. He's not thinking about the outcome of it. Just like the forefathers of Esau, this man gave up Romans 9 and 4 for some food. He didn't think about the outcome. And that's why I say Romans 9 and 4, because that's everything we get, man. He gave that up for some food, so that's how his people are. So the way they're ruling the world, the base man, he's ruling it in a carefree manner. And it says, and this is the point to show you they know they have the power right now. And it says, right here. It says, for this is our portion and our lot is this. They know it, man. Yeah. Manifest destiny. Esau know it. That's why you know what show he know it? Revelation 12 and 12. He know that he got a short time. In order for him to know he got a short time, he got to know the power that was given to him, man.
That's right. That's exactly right. You know, and that pathway, by the way, is Esau termed it. You know, he got to name everything, but they termed it the Shikhamate pathway, and it's spelled S-H-I-K. I think it's A-M-A-T-E. It's Shikhamate pathway, and that's important pathway. That's how the plant actually actualizes itself. So they just totally destroyed, and all that came about because of the Dust Bowl. Them not following Yahweh by Shem Yahweh. Again, it's sin. Sin is the root cause of the problem. and nobody will address it except Great Millstone.
Right.
Well, I mean, even IUIC will say keep the law, so they'll point it out. But then they don't really, because if you ain't teaching Yahweh Shai, then you're tinkling brass, you know. But yeah, brother, go. I think it's a little bit, yeah, because we got to get to the part where it say when he shall break the yoke.
One of the times I was reading that Revelation 6.
Yeah, all right. We didn't finish, huh?
Yeah,
Back in Revelation chapter 6, in verse 4, and there went out another horse that was red,
Esau.
and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
So that was his power to take peace from the earth, right? Because Yahweh Shai is the Prince of Peace. It's for him to bring peace, all right? So Esau is the opposite, all right? He's the opposite of peace. Go ahead.
And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
So that's what the brother read about. It was given unto him a great sword, all right? And so, right, he's capitalizing on it, creating these endless wars all around the world. America's the 200 years, 250 years, most of the time it's been at war. Most of America's time in power has been at war, all right? Even from its inception of the Revolutionary War, nothing much has changed, you know. What you got out?
It says from AI Overview, since its founding in 1776, the United States of America has been at war for roughly 222 out of 243 years. Meaning only 17 years it's been at peace. And I'm sure even in the 17 years it was like it wasn't peace. You
No, you good. But and that go back to what I was saying, because history don't even tell you that King George III was a Jake. It's always been Esau against Jake. They was declaring independence from Israelites. But history not gonna tell you that. They're gonna, man, they just Edomites fighting. No, they were rebelling against Negro rule over them, you know. And the same Negroes set up the 13 colonies. Esau wasn't calling no shots. Spain got in down in South America, and they were the first one really, you know, of the Edomites that came in the west for Esau was them Spaniards. You know, so when you talk England and all that, that was Jacob. But soon to be taken over. Matter of fact, it wasn't much longer after the revolution that, you know, King George, because he went into debt behind him. The Hessian soldiers, he had to buy soldiers. And that's how they profit. Matter of fact, I'm glad I brought that up. They profit off the war by loaning to countries. And so they created a lucrative industry at the blood on the blood of the people of the world. So yeah,
it's a book that go into that. The Confessions of an Economic Hitman.
Yeah.
He goes on.
Yeah, I saw a video. I guess it's the same. It might be. I watched the documentary or whatever. Yeah, that was it.
Found out.
Right, go back to that.
Back in Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass.
So it said he was going to serve his brother, who are that's what Father Isaac told brother Esau. You're going to serve your brother. You know, I'm going to give you the fatness of, you know, you're going to have the fatness of the land. But by your sword, you're going to live. You know? But go ahead.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion.
It shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, go ahead,
that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
and that's what he Well, yeah, it's done. I say the last yoke was the Bolshevik Revolution. That's what I say, but my history ain't. I'm not no historian, but I think that was the last Israelite like rulership. Rulership was in Europe. The damn it, what was I forget that family, but they was Israelite. They didn't. They refused Warburg's central bank, and so after World War One, right at the end of World War One, 1917, the elites under the Bolsheviks and slaughtered the whole family, the ruling family, and took over and set up communism in Russia. You know, but yeah, they broken the yoke now. You know, but read it again, not.
Genesis 27 and 40.
And then you can make your point because that's why I brought it out. You were making the point earlier. If you remember your point you was making.
It says,
You got it.
Genesis 27 and 40, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
And see, that's where we are now. All right? And you was going into
We were talking about manifest destiny. Like you saw broke the yoke came out, and we did what's
so yeah, manifest destiny. Yeah. Manifest destiny. All right, so it's his time for dominion, and Most High gave him the power to break the yoke. So I mean, this man was a lowlife living in the caves. The Most High had to be with him, man. And Jake had shit going on. Jake had it set up, but they was going off too. But yeah, for this man to come out in the cave, grunting and snorting this shit, eating anything moving that he could find, having sex with his mama and grandmama, dogs, animals, like the brother said, anything moving, yeah. They're eating screw, anything moving. You know, just like you see them today. Ain't nothing changed.
They got a suit on.
Right, and they got the suit and tie, and they shave. That was the caveman. Imagine you see Esau who don't shave, happy everywhere and shit, bushy. That's the caveman. The picture all of that. He bent over dirty and grunting. That was Esau. That's their history. And you can't, that's your history. You want to try to put all that slave shit in our favor, okay. But you was a low-life caveman. You know?
A lot of them will preserve them too. You read in Job, they speak about them being juniper roots.
Yeah, the juniper roots, they cut up juniper roots by the mallows, you know? Right. They were real low level. They were super primitive. They were sub-primitive. All right? You had tribes, you know, the primitive tribes, if they came across Esau, they'd kill him. Whatever they say, they gonna cry after it's Job, after a thief. Yeah. And then, try to get away from them motherfuckers. Get the fuck out of here. You know, that's Esau, man. And now he done fooled the whole world to think he's on some high moral level. But yeah, you got it.
It's Daniel chapter 4:17. But that's what they're talking about. That's Revelation 20. The Lord took the lowest of the low. Like it couldn't get no lower. Animals got more, you know, more, respect in the Lord's eyes than Esau. But the thing is, the Lord took this man and he put him up. And it's so cold, he fulfilled Revelation 20 by once you get out of that yoke, that bondage, you was going to deceive the whole world, man. Think about what he saw. I'm going to read this real quick. Daniel 4:17. This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and that's what the Lord did. and setteth up over it the basis of men. Think about a house. The lowest part of a house, especially like in the north, is what? A basement. It's all at the bottom, the basement. And you know it's even cold. Even look at that statue in Daniel. The head of gold, but as you got towards the bottom, that metal started diminishing. It's turned into gold, then silver, then bronze, and then iron, and then clay and iron. That's spiritually likening this, but those last little rulerships was Esau rulership. Things was gonna start to deteriorate once this man came into power. And it also says Psalms that the wicked walk on every side when the vilest people are exalted, man. So that's what we're witnessing right now. The Lord took the lowest of the low and put this man up now from his curse that he was given as a curse by the Lord, having his pigment strip. Now people in the world think we have to look like this. You got women want to wear blonde hair, contacts, and bleaching their skin and look like a curse. Right, yeah. He deceived the world. Think about that, man. But it was all set up, and it was manifest destiny. But now it was at the end of that destiny, man. You can't change it. You can't change it.
You got to, yeah. So, right. Again, he has the dominion, and our yoke has been broken. But Yahweh shall come to put you in the yoke. All right? And we know about that from Psalm 149, 148. Yeah, 149. Let's go to that right quick. You got something?
I was about to say that scripture when it says, I ain't gonna get it because brother about to get the other call for. But when the Lord told Esau, you thought you was gonna go unpunished? Seeing this whole time of him having this manifest destiny, this godlike mindset, he thought it was gonna be no punishment. But the Lord let this man get all up for this little end for his slaves and people who work 9 to 5 to tell him you going down. You about to get judged.
Man. Come on, brother. Go ahead, Doc. You don't bring it out, you can bring it out. I'll read it.
I'll start at verse 5. This is Psalms 149 and verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai be in their mouth.
Right, and that's beginning already, but it's going to continue. All right? Most High going to get his praise from here on out. All right? Go ahead.
And a two-edged sword in their hand.
So we're going to have the high praises of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai in our mouth and the two-edged sword in our hand. Go ahead.
To execute vengeance upon the heathen.
Right, to execute vengeance on the heathen. All right, go ahead.
And punishments upon the people.
And punishments upon the people. Because know ye not, 1 Corinthians 6 and 2, that the saints shall judge the world. Go ahead.
To bind their kings with chains.
To bind their kings with chains. Go ahead.
And their nobles with fetters of iron.
Right. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai going to put this devil in the yoke. There ain't nothing he gonna do about it. One more time right there, that piece.
To bind their kings with chains.
To bind their kings with chains. Go ahead.
And their nobles with fetters of iron.
Right. They're gonna be under the yoke of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Go ahead.
To execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai.
See who wrote the judgment? The Most High. So we're going to execute, he's going to give us the privilege to execute the judgment written. It's already prescribed. It's how to prescribe this man's future. All right? And it's going to be a lot of labor and beatings in his future. You know, a lot of scars and whelps and cut open skin, bruises.
So I got that skin. You can slap it and it turn red.
Yeah, we're going to have fun. Yeah, we're going to have fun.
Old Edom might just be bleeding for no reason. They just be having scabs on them.
Yeah, real easy. Yep. But you got it, brother.
It's Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. Not everybody see you, man. There's no
they see it.
The whole world see you so much so, man, I forget which brother it was. He posted a video of somebody in somebody, a small hat saying, we ain't the small hats. And they were saying, like, that's why it's supposedly illegal in the land of Israel to get a DNA test. Because they said if we do, it's going to be found nobody over here really Israelites. But everybody see you, man. Everybody know you the warmonger of the earth. It says, but I have made, Jeremiah 49:10, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. And that's why judgment coming, because he don't have nowhere to run. There's no more aliases he can use. Yeah, I said I was the Egyptian. Damn, I was the Greeks. Now I guess I gotta be he pinpointed. Nowhere to run. No other land to go take over and hide and start up another civilization is done. It says his seed is spoiled and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Verse 12. For thus saith Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. Talking about us as Israelites, the Lord, he didn't set us up to just be slaves, for Israel to be a homeborn slave and to be in captivity. But the way the story was written, we went off, and because we went off, that's why we was judged. He didn't set us up for that, but since we went off, guess what? We was judged. So seeing he judged the nation he loved, what you think he gonna do to people he don't care about, man? It says, art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. And that's a part of manifest destiny too. You can't get around this end of the destiny. And I want to get one more, brothers got it. Ecclesiastes 6:10 in the NLT. Everything has already been decided. It was known long ago what each person would be. So there's no use of arguing with the Most High about your destiny. So now that we to the latter end of your manifest destiny, don't be crying now. Don't talk about God love everybody. Come on, brother. We are the same ones as the elites against us. Oh, even in the kingdom. In the kingdom, the Lazarus and the rich man, don't be coming out talking about, man, help us out. No. You ain't help us out. You manifest destiny, right? That's what we're going to tell you, Lord, manifest destiny. Remember brother Esau? That's what it's going to be, man. So you can't argue about the latter end of your destiny either. Right?
Then you simply speak about that the judgment set and the books were open. So it's nothing that Esau can do to escape his judgment. All right, because prophecy is going to come to pass, and it's written that he's going to have a downfall. It's like it's written in Daniel the 2nd chapter, right? 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. He's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it. Follow him. All right. All of these things will happen and come to pass. With we get Revelation. No, Isaiah 47. You ready? All right, go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. O daughter.
It said, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. All right? Now, the dust represents a state of confusion, so Esau is going to be brought real low. Because right now, the Lord is dealing with him on the left-hand side, and he has all of this wisdom that the Lord has given him, right? And he's up on high right now because that's a part of prophecy. But he's about to be taken out of this, position of power, right? And be brought down to the ground, like you said. Read it again.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
Right, O virgin daughter of Babylon. All right, it says daughter of Babylon. It didn't say just Babylon. So it's not referring to ancient Babylon. All right? When you read in Revelation 17, it speaks about a mystery Babylon. So what is that talking about? All right? This is talking about America. We can get Psalms, I think it's 137, verse 7. Right? Because Esau is ruling this Babylon.
This is Psalm chapter 137 and verse 7. It says, remember, O Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, race it, even to the foundation thereof.
And what time is he talking talking about during the destruction of the first temple, right? With Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, and Esau, Edom, right? They were the main ones that had a hand in it. All right, when certain Israelites would escape, they would basically chase the Israelites down. What is this? First Ezra? I got you. You got it. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is First Ezra, chapter 4, in verse 45. It says, "Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldees."
Right. So it says the temple which the Edomites burned. It didn't say that the Babylonians did it. It didn't give credit to Nebuchadnezzar. He said the Edomites did it. So how hard was that going during this time, right, for it to mention their names like that? All right. So they the ones that did it. Yes.
No.
Psalm chapter 37, 137 and verse 8, it says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that reward of thee as thou hast served us.
So it said Esau, Edom, it name drops him, and then it mentions the daughter of Babylon. Isaiah 47 just mentioned the virgin daughter of Babylon. So now we know who was referred to, who was talking about. All right? It's not going to say, oh, the white man, that's in control of America. It's not going to say that. All right? If the scripture was written like that, we wouldn't even be able to read this. Okay? Wait, go back to Isaiah 47.
It's Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
Right, there is no throne. Because, what's that, Job 14 and 5? Your days are numbered, and you are at the end of that. You're at the end of your age of ruling. Go ahead.
It's Job chapter 14 and verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Right, God has appointed his bounds to which he cannot pass. So the Lord has set up a particular time and how long he's going to let you so you don't rule. Right? And he is at the end of that. Right? So it's not about to be any more rulership, left for you. All right? Because Jacob is going to rule after you, and that's going to be it. All right? You're not going to be in a position of royalty in the kingdom. Matter of fact, get Daniel 2 before we school.
The Amplified Version say, since his days are determined, the number of his months is in your control, and you have made his limits so he cannot pass his allotted time.
Right? It's nothing that they can fucking do. It's no matter how many fucking laws fucking Trump, signed into it, even executive order, or how many tariffs he put out, or how many. It's nothing that's about to be fixed. All right? Nothing could overturn what the Lord has set for this place.
Well, you got Space Force though.
Yeah, it's like, bro, come on, but the Lord has puffed him up to where he can think that, he can actually stand a chance against Yahweh. Like, bro, this is an ancient being that created everything, created you. How do you think that you can put up a fight with the Lord? All right? But it's all good, though. You see? The Lord gonna put him in his place.
This is Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the Most High of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed.
Right, the kingdom of heaven, which that's beginning right now. Right, through this knowledge. So the Yahweh says that the kingdom of heaven is within you. So it's beginning right now in his kingdom. Our kingdom is being set up now. All right? When we speak about, Ezekiel 37, Revelation 11, us standing up on our feet, all right, teaching his word, right? This is the kingdom of heaven being set up. And this will never go away. All right? This truth came back out, right? And it's gonna endure forever. It's nothing that Esau can do to basically to remove the truth out of the earth. All right? This is here to stay. Right? It's the scriptures speak about elect men that's going to make it. Right? Men, women, and children that's going to make it. Like, Esau, Edom can't stop that. And then the kingdom of heaven is going to continue forever.
And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
So it's not going to be left to other people. So Edom is not going to be in a power seat in the kingdom of heaven. There's not going to be any thrones. Nobody's gonna look at him as pertaining unto royalty. All right, you're gonna go back to your natural position, right? The base of men, it says. You're gonna be treated like a base again.
That's right.
All right, because you've been feeling yourself way too long. What said they've seen servants upon horses. All right, that's you. And the Lord only did that to punish us. All right, but that time was over. All right.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
So the Lord is coming to take this place down. All right? No matter what people think about this place, so America's so strong, the military, this and that, we got this, and we got all this technology, right? This place is finished. There is nothing, because look, the destruction of Babylon the Great is already ready. So you got to think that anything that this man comes up with, it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to trump what the scriptures say. All right? It says it shall break in pieces everything. In Revelation 18, speaks about this place going down in violence. The Lord is going to destroy America. Get what's that? Revelation 19, 13. You can read down.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10. It says, and I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
So that's why you see the true men of the Lord going into these prophecies. This is the most important thing that you can talk about. Right? Nothing else is important. All right, but the thing that is shortly about to come to pass. All right, and one of the major things is Babylon the Great being destroyed. This is what we await. This is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Right, and going into Yahushua, right, returning on them chariots. Because those chariots are coming to do damage. Right? Because right now, they have just record, see them appear and disappear, right? All this little shit, right? But there'll come a point in time to where it's going to be no more of that. Right? The Lord is going to be giving the green light, right, to destroy this place. And that is what he's waiting on. Because he don't know the time, like the scripture say. All right? So he's waiting on the green light to do this. And the day of vengeance is burning in his heart, in his mind. So he's constantly thinking about this. You got people in the church worshiping the kingdom of Jesus Christ, this and that, right? Not knowing that the actual Messiah wants to fucking kill you.
Right.
Right? That's why I said, what is the day of the Lord to you? That's why in that day, bro, it's going to be
Right.
when everything is revealed, bro. That's why I said a lot of people going to be dropping dead, heart attacks, and all of this shit, right? So they going to come to understand that the Lord is the so-called black man, all right, from the tribe of Judah, all right, and he's coming to take down this empire and put a lot of people to death, to shed a lot of blood.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And it says, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
So he's coming to make war. Esau has been a warmonger his entire existence. So since you are about war, Yahushua is coming to bring the war to you. All right, because he's the one that blessed you with this war. All right, now he's going to come take that power from you. All right, because look at the result of the earth, of your rulership.
For the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got plastic in my body. The fuck?
None. This is the lowest that the planet Earth has ever fucking been. All right, even when you go into the other kingdoms, even they took care of the earth. All right, when you go into Babylon, they got stories about the gardens and all of this. Right, what good things do you have to say about? You saw he was he ruled things. Nothing. Even the other kings, they acknowledged that there was a higher power. There was a, what Nebuchadnezzar, right? That that the Most High exists, right? But you saw he lets everybody bring their different gods over here, right? He blasphemes the Most High's name. It's people like I said, Revelation 13 chapter. Right? And if there is a God, it looks like him. Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 19 and verse 12, it says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
Right, many crowns. And that represents these different kingdoms being taken down. It's like Daniel 2:44 saying that the kingdom shall not be left to other people. Everybody else that's in a position of authority, all of that's going to be taken. Right? China, Russia, Iran, all these different countries. The Lord put everybody down, no matter how many fucking nuclear missiles they got, right? No matter what, none of that, bro. None of that is going to matter in that day. Okay? Everybody's going to their rightful places being subject under Israel. It's like I said, 2 Ezra 6, he said, what? That the world was created for our sakes. Okay? And the people was made to serve us. That's the sole purpose of the Hebrew. All right? So everything is out of order right now. And the Lord's coming to set things straight.
And even that, how like now in Esau Kingdom, yeah, he rule the world, but how like some places in Africa, like you just got people just out there, like doing their own thing, so to speak. Like they ain't got no rule over them. It's kind of just them and their tribes. You got people on the islands, like the Pygmy people, whatever, in Australia, just them doing their thing. We ain't gonna have no just scattered people somewhere on the earth just kind of doing their own thing. No, we gonna have tabs on everybody in the world. We gonna tell everybody, every nation what to do, how to live, so on and so forth. You ain't gonna have this random group who haven't seen civilization ever, and we gonna find them and they gotta meet you. I know everybody gonna get down from the day we come up the chariots, man. All nations.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 12. It says, his eyes were a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself.
Which is not talking about his actual name, okay? Which is going into Yahushua's rank and authority, right? His position in the heavens. Nobody else got that, all right? So don't let people use this scripture, right? And read it again now.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 12. It says, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Right, and people use this to say that, we don't know the name. That's not what that's talking about. All right? We will have the name in the latter days. Okay? So, if y'all want to do that, cool, right? When judgment comes, let's see what happens. Go ahead.
Verse 13, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High.
Right, he was clothed. Read that again.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 13. It says, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood.
Right, he was clothed with his vesture dipped in blood. Now, what is that talking about, guys? You over something? You got it already? Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 1. Who is this that cometh from Edom?
Right, so who is this that cometh from Edom? All right, so the focus is the Edomites, right? The so-called white man, all right, who is ruling today. Where it says, who is this that cometh from Edom? So this person is coming, right, from an Edomite ruled kingdom. Go ahead.
With dyed garments from Basra.
Right, dyed garments. Right, and he's going to explain why I said that his garments was dyed.
That is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength.
Right, he's coming back, right, and so-called uniforms, Revelation 1 and 7. Right, go ahead.
I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save.
Only person they can save is Yahushuah. So we know that's talking about him. Keep going.
Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat.
Right, so why your garments all red like that? Right? Like it says up here in Revelation 19 chapter, his vegetables dipped in blood. But Isaiah right here saying that why your garment looks like one that treaded in the wine press? Because making the wine was a messy job back then, and you would get that all over your clothing. All right, and in the vision, this is what it looked like. Right, he's not gonna actually come back and have and look like this, but it represents something. All right, go ahead.
Verse 3, I have trodden the winepress alone, and all the people Salakia. Isaiah chapter 63 and verse 3, I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me.
Right, because this is, when he was making the wine back then, this was a group effort. It took a group of people. Right? The way says, no, I got it. Right? Yahweh Shah, he's going to be the leader, right, of taking this place down. Because the angels are going to follow him. Right? You're reading the same chapter, Revelation 19 chapter. All right? But him trying to, the people represents the grapes. So when you think about it, it's their blood that's going to be spilled. Right? Basically saying it's going to be a lot of bloodshed.
It says, for I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment.
Right, which is just symbolic. It's going to be a lot of killing. Like it says in the book of Jeremiah, that the slain of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth to the other. All right, and rightfully so. This is what needs to happen. When you see that the pride that these people are in towards, the Heavenly Father and the Son, according to Scripture. All right, how these people live their day-to-day lives, bro. They need something to happen to them. All right, this is righteous judgment.
If I can add on to your point, going into Yahweh Shah treading the wine press, like the brother said, that's a job that takes more than one person. And there's a book, the Manners and Customs of the Bible. It gives a description of how people actually used to tread the wine press. It would be, a numerous amount of people, and there would be like a cord above their heads to hold them up while they, tread the grapes. So Yahweh Shah said he don't need nobody to help him do it. Then he said his anger and his fury was going to be the thing holding him up. So like what Shemal is saying, when the Lord makes his return, there's going to be a lot of blood shed, and really the Lord don't need help doing it. But that was the point.
Yeah, I remember Apostle Terrell said recently, he said although some of the other angels go get busy, he was like the main one who will bring the most destruction is Yahweh Shah. At the same time, the angels will be saving the elect from across the world. But he highlighted Yahweh Shah will be the main one getting busy as far as destruction goes.
And that makes sense. Because what happened in the last Egypt, that angel, right? He was active. Right? The destroyer. Right? And it's going to be the same with the spiritual evil.
It made me think of Matthew 24, how it says he gonna send his angels with a sound of the trumpet, look, y'all go gather. Or he probably, start getting busy.
Hey, it's gonna be a day, man. Especially he coming with power and great glory. Hey, look how long he really ain't been a long time to him, but for us, but he's waiting to do this. Right? Yahweh Shah is coming to show out.
Right.
I mean, think about it. He's coming to set up his kingdom on earth that he created. Think about that. He can't. He's ready. He's ready. He's ready to set shit up the way it's supposed to be. He's coming to wreak havoc. Like, the Tasmanian devil, he's coming to tear it up. Because guess what? He's setting up his kingdom under the Most High on earth, on his planet where he created.
Right. Think about it, he got crucified 2,000 years ago in the Roman Empire. Revelation 11 tries to speak about they crucified him again. How do you think the Lord feeling right now? You got me turn me into a white man. This is the anti-Messiah nation.
This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 49. This is Yahweh Shah speaking. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? So the Lord is ready to get down and act like he said. He's coming to send fire on the earth. We understand through prophecy, this is the way America targeted is going to be destroyed and wiped out. But it says, what will I if it already be kindled? So how do you think it's going to be whenever Yahweh Shah physically makes his return? There's no chance. There's no hope. The only hope is Yahweh Shah. And if you are on his list, if you don't have that tawah, that mark of exemption, you're done.
He said, this is my kingdom, my servant will fight. And even when they tried to grab him up, he said, don't you think that if I can pray to my Father, he'll be sending me 12 legions of angels? Right? Now, why did he have to get extra detail like that? He didn't even have to say all of that. He just said, my Father can come, help me with this. Now, he got extra detail. This is extra specific because that's what he really wanted to do. What prophecy had to be fulfilled. But he's coming back, right? This second time to him to do just that. Right? And his servants will fight. Right? We all are servants of Yahweh. Everything was put up under him. All right? So the angels are going to be here, right? And the men of the Lord is going to get spiritual power.
He was still in that Isaiah 63. He's done with that.
I think that was it.
He said 12 legions.
I think he said 12 legions.
I just looked
I
up.
like 7,000.
I think it was 12.
Close to 12. I just looked it up. It says a Roman, a legion could have been around 5,000, 6,000, 7,000. So I just typed it in. I'm gonna put 7. 7,000 times 12. 84,000 acres. 84,000 many guys, man. And he probably downplayed it. You know?
You only need one. He can do it himself. Like we're to say, he can do it himself.
Peter probably could have got busy.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 13. It says, and he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name was called the Word of the Most High.
Right, because he is the Word of the Most High. Where he said that the volume of the book is written of him. All right? This whole book is written of him. He is the Word. Right now, it's taking the name of the Word of God. Right? We don't call him the Word of God. Right? It's not what that's talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 14. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
Right? This is speaking about the angels. He said the armies which are in heaven. All right? So Esau is not the only one that got an army. All right? This is a heavenly host. Right? He can do nothing against. All right? This is an army that is backing the Israelites, the elect of the Israelites. Okay? Even though we cannot see. It's like me going to the story of what was that, Elisha? All right? When he looked up and the chariot was overhead and opened the man's eyes. Okay? That's the same thing. So even though we cannot see, that's why I said we walk by faith and not by sight. So in that day, right, those type of scriptures are going to be in our mind. All right? Hey, the Lord said, strive for the children of death. He said, strive for the children of death, and the Lord shall fight for you. And that's going to happen. Right? In that day.
Verse 15, it says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron.
So if God loves everybody, why is he coming back? Why is Yahweh Shah, right, coming back to smite the nations? What do you need to smite the nations for? Who are these nations? Daniel 2, it speaks about the Israelites' kingdom being set up. Then it said that the kingdom cannot be left to other people. So it's everybody else outside of the Israelites. Read again, brother.
This is Revelation chapter 19 and verse 15. It says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword.
Right, because those chariots, right, will be shooting out those laser beams. Like they show them on movies, but nobody really seeing how they look when they get shot off. Right? All we know is they're gonna be powerful as fuck. All right, this is something that's from the spiritual realm. All right, go ahead.
That with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of the Almighty power.
Right, same thing as we said in Isaiah 63rd chapter. All right, there's going to be a lot of death, right? And those chariots are going to be behind a lot of that as well, right? Zechariah the 5th chapter, right, speaks about, this is the curse that goeth forth over the earth. But this is going to be a curse right unto the wicked, right? But to the elect, right, it's going to be, salvation. Right? Says that as birds flying shall the Lord defend Jerusalem, right? This is Isaiah 31st chapter. Where'd you at?
This is Isaiah chapter 66 in verse 15. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. So the Lord is making his return with the holy angels too. And just seeing one unidentified flying object like these people say today, that shuts everything down. So just imagine how it's going to be when the Lord makes his return on that giant spaceship, as people like to say, with, however many angels that are going to be with him. It tells you that the angels are thousands upon thousands. But it says, verse 16, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Just like it mentioned in the book of Revelations. The chariots, that's a part of the Lord's host. Okay, and like it said, with the sword that's coming out of his mouth, what we haven't seen, but Lord willing, we're about to experience what that concentrated fire looks like. Okay, long or well in this context with the ICBM missiles, but the Lord is going to come and do, his own thing. Like it says, there's a how it says, with his rebuke and his fury. That was it.
Right. Elon Musk ain't got shit for it.
This is Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits.
Right, this is going to the chariots.
And the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
Right, this is a curse. All right? When these people are recording the sightings of the chariots, right, it's actually a bad thing for them. It's not a good thing. If they're not of the elect, right, this is a bad thing for them, right? Because in the end time, this vehicle that you'll see in the heavens is possibly going to be your end. Okay? And you should be afraid of this. All right? But as being Israelites, right, you should know what it is, and it should be joyful unto you because of salvation. But the 2/3 are not going to have that same mindset. Okay? Because those here, like I said, it's going to be a curse unto the wicked, but for the elect, that's what's going to gather, right, the elect. All right? Like the brother quoted in Matthew 24 chapter. That's the only way to get out of Babylon the Great. All right? That's going to be the only way to escape the ICBM. Right? Through Yahweh.
This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side, according to it, and everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side, according to it. I will bring forth, saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief.
It shall enter into the house of the thief. Now, who do you think that's talking about? That's talking about Esau either. What is that, John 10:10? Or the thief coming not but to steal, right? Kill. Okay? All these things. It's him. This is all that he's been doing. What do you think ruling by the sword means? He's been ruling in violence. All right? So the violence is coming to him. Right? Like in Revelation 18 and 20.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 20. It says, rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for the Most High hath avenged you on her.
And this is something that we're supposed to be happy about, hearing about this place falling. hearing about the bad things on the news that this place is going through and all this fucking shit, right? That's good news for us. Because we are one step closer to our end.
Right.
We shouldn't give a fuck about none of this shit. Right? What I'm gonna do, I got a job and what am I getting for bro? Fuck all of this. Alright, you wanna work forever? Like you should want to see the downfall of this place.
Right.
But like it says in the book of I believe it's 2nd Ezra 4th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. But the evil gotta come so that the righteous. Right? So that the kingdom can be set up. Evil has to happen. Alright? Hold on, that was Zechariah?
No. Zechariah chapter 5 and verse 4. I will bring it forth, saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name. And it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof and the stones thereof.
It said it shall consume it. All right, that don't sound like nothing nice. Right, along with the chariots, right, and the missiles, it said with the timbers and the stones thereof. When you read in Isaiah, the 34th chapter, it speaks about the stones of emptiness, what a confusion. The lines, something like that. Get that, lines of confusion, stones of emptiness, something like that. Isaiah 34. Maybe around like 8, 9, something like that.
This is Isaiah chapter 34, and I'll start at verse 9. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch.
Right, how that's going to happen? You look at the list. That's why it says Isaiah 13th chapter, and many other scriptures, that the destruction of Babylon the Great is going to be likened unto Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay? Revelation the 11th chapter said this is spiritually Sodom. Okay? The scripture also said that Sodom and Gomorrah was an example to anybody that would live like this, right? They do these things, this is going to happen to them. This is the judgment. Okay? Go ahead.
It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste.
Right, so Babylon the Great or America is going to be on fire, right, for a long time. Okay, because this is not a regular fire that's being brought to this place. All right, because the whole landmass is going to be on fire. We're going to put it out. All right? Just like when you go into the Teslas when they be on fire. Nobody, you got to let that shit burn out on its own.
You got the super volcano, Mount St. Helens. And then also in the lower part, kind of where we are, they have like huge lithium deposits. And that's what the Tesla's batteries are made out of. So that's like a huge, like I think it's from maybe Tennessee down to whatever the state just covered this, Oklahoma or Louisiana, something like that.
Where the hurricane, North Carolina,
Right.
Tennessee, all of it.
Like
Yeah, it covers
area.
a few states. Yeah, they say it's the top quality lithium in the earth.
Other things that's going to ignite that fire. Think about all the oil that's in the water too. That's the oil, the water will be dried up. Think about all the chemicals in water. I mean the oil that's in the water. Think about all these power plants, pipelines. Electricity. As soon as fire touch that thing, pow, pow. You got volcanoes. What it is, Yellowstone Park.
Right.
Yeah, man. So there's gonna be a lot of things that naturally ignite itself within a fire that's gonna be sent from the Lord in the church. Right.
Read about Isaiah 9, it said these people shall be fueled for the fire. But there's gonna be a lot of things that's gonna be fueled for the fire that's coming. Fires gonna start blowing up.
Isaiah chapter 34 and verse 10, it shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation it shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever.
From generation to generation shall lie waste. So Esau is never going to build a kingdom back up again. He's never going to be back in come back into power. That's why Isaiah 47, when we started off with, right? It said there is no throne. All right? We read in Malachi the fourth chapter, right? It said that the day that burns the oven, they're basically going to destroy, the wicked, and you shall neither leave them root nor branch. When you take out the root, they cannot grow anymore. So Esau is going to be completely put out. Right? This is last hoorah for you. All right? That's why he said he knew that he had what a short time. All right? After this, there is nothing written of him coming back into power or having another rulership. All right? This is it. And this is our last captivity.
None shall pass through it forever and ever. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. The owl also and the raven shall dwell in it, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness.
Right? It's only going to be creatures that are able to live in the conditions that this landmass will be in after it's destroyed by the nuclear fire. All right? And all of these so-called buildings and monuments that they adore so much, all of that shit's going to be destroyed. Right? Fucking statues of men that have done atrocities to our people. All right? All that shit's going to be out the window. All right? And you're not going to be able to tell, oh, yeah, this is New York right here. Right? Oh, this was Texas. Oh, this was, no, this whole shit going to be fucked up. All right? And rightfully so. All right? And it's going to be a memorial for this. This is what happens. Right? When you rule like this.
This is Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Just to hit the point you said, all of the atrocities that he's done unto the Israelites, they have to pay for what they've done. But verse 12, here's the point too. It says, but I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall devour the palaces of Basra. And going into something else, you said, all of the monuments, everything they have here in America, which is spiritually, Basra, like we brought out in Isaiah 63, this place is targeted for destruction. Everything is going to be burned up and consumed. Especially like the Lord made mention for the things that you've done unto Jacob, your brother, which are the Israelites.
You get really 39 and 10.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Right. When you go into this chapter, it speaks about, the Roman Empire, right? Then it's being wounded, right? And then this whole beast system being established, right? NATO and EU, right? That wound being healed, right? Then it also speaks about, all of the things that Esau has done on the planet Earth through his miracles, right? Through his armies, right? All of these things and the things that he's going to do in the latter days, right? I think it also speaks about him putting us in slavery in this chapter.
Yeah, it shall be given unto him to make war with the saints
and to overcome them. So this is what he did, right? And the Lord was with him on that, right? But now it's time for you to go into captivity. Right now, it's time for you to endure hardship and tribulation and all of these things. Right? It's like the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Right, bro? You're going to be fucking going through it. You're going to be in torments. We're going to bring hell upon you. That's what that's talking about. All right? It ain't talking about no actual hell, but we're going to put hell on your ass. All right? And this is what we are waiting on. This is what we are patiently waiting on. All right? When you go back to Psalms 149, it says this is the honor, right, of all his saints. All right? So everybody's going to get a chance to fuck with their hands. And that's what we wait on. Someone got anything else?
This is let me just Let's get it from the top. This is Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
That, gonna give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakapadash.
double honors to the apostles and elders of the millstone, peace, saints to the Achion, the men, women, and children out there believing, right? Believing in the name of Yahweh Shai, and doing everything that they can do to basically escape, right, the destruction that's coming